Welcome to my parlor. Welcome, traveler, to the Hidden Corner Finds. I am Joanne, and this is my humble store. Pull up a chair, stay a while, make yourself at home. What? Oh, you want to know what I'm selling? Everything and anything. In short, I have a passion for picking. Ugh, why did it just bleep me? All I said was, I have a passion for picking, I said. Yeesh. You can't say anything on YouTube these days without this censorship. Anyways, as I was saying, I have a passion for picking. For me, there is nothing more satisfying than finding a unique and forgotten item and uniting it with someone who will really appreciate it for years to come. Whether it's a soapstone carving, an old book, or simply a mug to make you laugh, I try and find something for everyone. My goal is to make you a confident buyer. Older items often have a lifetime of stories to tell. I strive to describe the good as well as the bumps and bruises they've experienced along the way. It's important that the pictures reflect what you will receive. To that end, I always encourage questions and will do my best to respond as quick as possible. Appreciate you stopping by the store. If you can't find what you're looking for, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm always looking for new ideas and will keep an eye out for your item in my travels.
Honey, what the happened to my action figure collection?
Whoops, gotta go. Bye.
And welcome back to Tactical Tuesday with Johnny Tiger on March 5th, 2024. Today we got another little knife to review, and this one is a goodie. I say that about a lot of them, and I do have a lot of knives that I consider quite good, but this one stands out. Of the knife that I've acquired lately, this one stands out because this is um, a special gift as well. This one was given to me by my good friend Richard. Him and I would send each other a knife every year around Christmas time or birthday, sort of like a little exchange, a manly exchange of gift. And this year he sent me this CRKT River Knives and Tool CRKT a Minimalist Persian. This is an interesting knife. Now, I mentioned this before. So, with the thing about being blind, it's a lot of time when you take things, especially when you receive a gift, and it's in the box, you don't really know what it is. Now, I knew it was going to be a knife, and then when I used my the camera on my phone to read it, it says CRKT. So I was like, oh, cool, CRKT. But my phone wouldn't tell me what CRKT knife this was. So when I opened this, right? When I opened this and I felt this tail on the hilt end of the knife, I had this weird thought going through my head. I was like, what the hell is this? Is there a model by CRKT called, I don't know, CRKT Rat Tail? Did Richard send me a CRKT Rat Tail? And then later I found out, oh, it's a minimalist Persian. You no rat tail. But yeah, I mean, what is that? Right? Like this is like probably the part about this knife I don't understand. Like what is that tail on the end of the hilt? It doesn't, as far as I know, it doesn't really add anything. Is that supposed to be a paracord? I don't think so. I mean, it feels kind of like if you can unwind this, it might be a paracord. But I can't, not that I would want to, but I can't really figure out like how do you even unwind that, or do you have to cut that? And like that's just kind of awkward, right? Like let's say if you have to cut it off to unwind it to use as a paracord, well, assuming that this is the only knife you're carrying on your person, how are you going to cut that? right? You're not going to be able to cut this with a knife. You need you need to have a second knife. You need to have another knife or a pair of scissors or just use your teeth or something to get that off. So yeah, if anyone know what that tail is supposed to do, let me know, right? Maybe I'm just thinking too much. Maybe it's supposed to be just like a decoration or something, but it's kind of weird. Um, Now, the minimalist is kind of relatively new in the knife world by CRKT brand, and they are, from what I know, very well received. They're kind of like these small, big fish in a small pond, if you can put it that way. Like they're a really small knife. Like compared to my hand, you can tell that this thing is barely as long as my hand. Right? It's a pretty small knife, right? But when we actually get this in hand and start using it, you realize that this is actually a lot of it's a knife with a really big bite. It's a knife with big bite for its small size. So that's what's very cool about this minimalist knife. So now let's look at the Persian. Um, It has a very standard Kydex kind of a sheath, one of these Kydex sheaths that you see on any neck knife. And the cool part is when you press your thumb against the back and you apply force, that sheath gonna jump off of the knife. I like that. I mean, it's kind of annoying because sometimes you go flying across the room and you're like, no, 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 no. You're trying to go chase after it. Uh, but when you actually do that, I mean, look at that, look at that, look at that again. Push. See how it just shoot off the knife. That's kind of cool, right? At least it's dramatic. Now, when you actually wear this as a neck knife, it does have a cord for you to wear as a neck knife. Uh, then that's not a problem, right? Let's say I got the cord around my neck. I grab the knife. I press down on the thumb. That just jump off the knife, like the sheath just jump off the knife, but it will still swing by the cord on my neck. So that's cool. The handle is this resin infused fiber handle that feel it's skinny as hell, but feel really good in the hand because of these aggressive notches for your finger to rest in. It's not going anywhere once you get your finger in those finger notches, right? And then of course there's this weird little tail on the end. Again, not sure what that's for. It comes with a belt clip. I didn't install the belt clip because when I wear this, most likely it's going to be uh, a neck knife. I'm not going to wear it on my belt. I usually wear a bigger knife on my belt. As a neck knife, it's extremely comfortable. So now that we looked at the sheath and the hilt, let's pop this off and look at the blade. On the back of the blade, we have this little bit of a jimping and a curvature here for your thumb to rest on very securely. And this is my favorite knife, my favorite part about this knife is this really big finger guard. I mean, this is what I'm talking about when I talk about finger guard, right? Well, okay, not supposed to do that. Uh, it's a little bit hilt heavy, right? If this was balanced better, this supposed to be able to hang on the finger guard on my hand, on my finger. But because the hilt is heavier, so it's kind of rolled off my finger like that. But that is that is a good finger guard on this knife. There's no way. There's just no way that your hand is going to slip through and cut. You're not going to cut yourself with this. With this, this is the kind of finger guard I think most knives should have. Right? It's just so comfortable in the hand. You feel so secure when you're using this. Like if you still manage to cut yourself with a finger guard like this, and you're trying really hard to cut yourself. The blade is this really aggressive looking blade. Like when I first pulled this out of the sheath, I was like, whoa, This even scared me. Like this basically is designed like a miniature 17th century Persian sword with this really upswept curve to it, and this thing's razor sharp, like a scalpel, and really, really pointy. It's only a 2.76 inch blade, but it feels like it's a really big knife in hand. Um, the whole thing is, I believe, 5.8 inches long. Again, very small knife, very small knife. Tiny, tiny profile. Just look how skinny it is. But when I hold this, man, I feel invincible, right? It gives you kind of a misdirected courage when you hold this knife in your hand. You just feel so secured and so badass and so wicked with this blade. Uh, it's the whole knife just have one of those attitude like don't mess with me. I'm going to stab you really bad. Uh, kind of attitude to it, right? Again, not to say that you should go and stab people with this, but it's just when you hold this in hand, it conveys that feeling. It conveys that feeling that this thing is not to be trifled with. This is not a knife that you want to be on the wrong end of. I mean, you don't want to be on the wrong end of any knife, but this knife screams it. It has an attitude about it. So this is what it looks like when you're wearing this. Even under your shirt, this is a pretty comfortable knife. Not as comfortable as a Master USA 1127 that I showed you guys previously, but this is a lot more comfortable than a lot of other neck knife because it is pretty small. And when you want to get it, you know, you pull it out of your shirt, hold on to the knife. See how high that jump? When I put my thumb and apply pressure to the sheath, it leaves off the knife. I love that. Like I never seen a neck knife sheath that do that before. Like it's kind of dramatic and kind of fun. Um, I mean, I don't know if it's like supposed to do that or not. But yeah, it is pretty cool how it would just jump off the knife when you uh, apply your thumb to it. And here we have a piece of plastic from like action figure insert. Uh, yeah, very tough material, right? You can't even tear it with your hand unless you like really. Yeah, yeah. Even for me, like using a lot of effort, it's not going to tear. It's really durable kind of plastic. Right? So let's see what our knife can do to it. Whoa, yeah, yeah. This is what I'm talking about. Just like cut. It's almost like cutting butter. Like this is so smooth. The slice, the cut, stab, slice, stab, slice. Yeah, it just ripped right into this plastic. No problem whatsoever. Just look at how smooth this cut. Slice, stab, slice. Yeah, just like barely need to wiggle this. I barely have to saw. I don't even have to really like saw it back and forth. I just, yeah, as I stab in, I follow the curve of the knife and start apply pressure, and that's basically it. It just bites right through that plastic. Just look at how well this cut. Of the neck knife I've reviewed so far, I think this one cuts the best. CRKT has always been pretty cool. It's one of the brands that I kind of go to very often. I have quite a few CRKT knives, and every single one of them I just love and I use a lot. I showed you guys the uh, canned onion CRKT wrinkle knife before. That I use as utility knife every day. Now the CRKT. Minimalist Persian is just a really cool example of another CRKT knife that cuts beautifully, feels great in hand, and has a lot of utility to it. Now, how is it as a utility knife? We always have to answer these questions. Is this knife good for utility? Is this knife good for survival? Is this knife good for self-defense? Well, for utility, as you guys have saw how easy this cut. This is a great utility knife. It's sharp as heck, easy to carry, has a small profile, and feel great in the hand. You're not going to cut yourself with this. And has enough blade, even though it's only 2.76, 2.78 inches, there's enough blade for you to work with. So it's a great utility knife. Survival though, again, you probably know what I'm going to say if you've been following my channel. Too small to be a survival knife. Although this would be a great gutty knife, skinny knife, uh, little hunting knife for dressing the game, cleaning fish and stuff like that. So in that way, it would be good. But so I would say again, this would be what I would say be good for a secondary survival knife, a backup survival knife for small, fine work. But as far as that goes, it is really good for that. So I wouldn't say this is good for a main survival knife, but for a secondary survival knife, it's fine. It's great. Now for self-defense, is this good for self-defense? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, other than getting a karambit in my hand, I think if I'm walking down a back alley and someone or several someones accost me, I would feel very confident stepping forward with this in my hand. And I'm pretty confident that they won't really want to mess with it if I hold this out and have the right confidence and attitude that show them I know what I'm doing. Now, this is one of those knives that just looks intimidating as heck, feels intimidating as heck, and you know that ending up on the wrong end of this would probably really, really suck. So there you have it, a quick look at a CRKT Minimalist Persian. Like it or hate it, let me know in the comment. I'll see you guys tomorrow.